All right, guys, welcome back to the Pleasure Dome. Welcome back to the Alpha, and she's up on blocks. But why she's up on blocks, let's find out. Come on. Right, we're off to get the wheels sorted. Bit of a refurb. The wheels actually aren't too bad. This is probably one of the worst ones. There's a little bit of corrosion in these holes. Tiny bit of curbing around the outside. I mean, two of them look pretty spectacular from the outside, but they're all awful on the inside. So lots of wear and tear. Nothing in terms of buckling, cracking, or anything like that, as I can see. But yeah, they're going in for a refurb, which is going to be great. Can't wait. I've also got 4 brand new tyres as well, 4 Toyos to go on. So looking forward to getting those on. So one thing I am doing is changing the colour of the alloys, but nothing too significant, so don't get too excited. But if you know your GTVs and you know your cups, you'll know that these teledials are slightly different to the cup teledials. The cup ones, I'll show you a picture actually. The cup ones, I think it's painted over a black primer, a black base layer to give it more of a satin chrome type finish. It's called high silver or high power silver or something like that. And these are like a flake silver, and I think the cup ones are going to pop a little bit more. And I posted that onto the 916 Facebook group this morning, and of the 2 pictures, everyone, bar none, everyone has suggested to go for the cup variant. So we're going to try and have that chat with the wheel refurb guys to get those done. So let's pop these in, hit the road, and we're off to Planet Alloys in Walsall. So I head that way and see what they say. All right, they're all dropped off. Hyper silver, there's a colour we're going for. So a couple of days, we'll pick them back up. Nice one. Seem like nice guys. And this is the first time I've actually had the wheels off as well. It's been so cold and wet recently, I've had no time. So it's good to get a bit of a look under here. So it's all a bit rusty and crusty, but I don't think it's too bad. The discs are pretty good. Tiny lip, only ever so tiny. So they're obviously relatively recent. Calipers need a clean, but you know, look okay. Yeah, again, brake pads look okay. I've got the caps on the bleed nipples. That's a good sign, isn't it? That they've not gone walkabout. Shock looks a little bit on the rusty side. So, I mean, they feel all right when you drive in. So that's going to come off and have a good old refurb. I've ordered some new lower arms because the bushes are a little bit shot in here. This all needs tidying up. Drop link is solid and looks relatively recent. Wiring looks okay, I think. And in terms of corrosion up here, a little bit of surface, but nothing significant. Pretty much the same on the other side as well. So a bit of tidying up to do on the fronts. On the backs, you have to put some paint on this caliper, aren't we? Again, got the bleed nipple cover, spring in there. Shop needs a tidy up. Just a little bit surface corrosion. Spring pans look pretty solid. The springs look okay as well. So whatever that is there, yeah, that needs sorting, doesn't it? So we'll sort that out. Discs and pads look fine. So bit of a tidy up on the back. I'm going to drop the subframe on the back so I can drop all this down, take it all apart and give it a good clean. So that'll be a good job for the spring, which is fantastic. But yeah, happy days. Right, guys, it's the next day. So whilst we're waiting for those wheels to be done, I'm sick and tired of looking at the mess that's under here. So it's getting quite late in the day. I'm just back from work. We're just going to whip these shocks off both sides and have a look at these calipers as well. See if these will clean up. I've got some paint for calipers and shocks, so we'll give them a tidy up if we need to. Right, let's get it done before it gets too dark. So in here I've got some Surfex HD. This is built amber. So I'm just going to cover the caliper. Looks very dirty, but not too bad. But we shall see if we can get the brake dust off it. Let it do its thing for a little while, yeah? We'll come back around that. Right, first things first. Right, so there's 290mm nuts on these bolts. Let's give that a good spray. Come on, 19s. Okay, nice and easy. Okay, then I've got the drop link. That's like a 15, that does. Yay. Right, I've got this clip here that touches the the brake line to the shop from the flexi. It's moving. Look, it's stiff. Come on. We've got that. Cool. 2 cables. We've got probably an ABS cable and a. Can't see where that one goes. Okay, what's that? Okay, right. What about those two for now? Disconnected, disconnected, disconnected. I should be able to carefully knock this out. Oh, this is going to want to move, so we'll be careful of this. Careful of this brake line. Right, okay, we're disconnected. Cool. So now, go up top. Okay, these 3 at the top. 1, 2, 3. They look like 12. Right, and then the third one whilst holding it. There we go. Okay. Press the hub. It should come out. We're out. Cool. Right, that's the first one out then. I mean, this is a pretty sorry state, isn't it? So the car did come with one of these in the boot. I don't know if it's any good or not. So I might have a little bit of a play with that, see if it's any better condition. This is the worst of the 2 at the front. The other one doesn't need taking off and doing as well. This is the worst. So yeah, this is quite old. So a lot of flaking on here. Quite bad in here as well on this pan. So I'll take the spring off to get access to that top bit. But again, I'll have a look at the other one. I'm not bothered about this at the top. I'll give it a bit of a clean and then treat it with some anti-rust stuff, but you won't see it. And the spring looks quite good. That's obviously been replaced fairly recently. So yeah, good start. Right, so the weight of this at the moment is just pulling on the drive shaft. So I just need to hold this up. So I've dropped a bit of carrier cord through, attach that to the top, the bolt holes for the shock, and we'll just pop this through here. Can't do it with one hand. Again, just pop this through here. Okay. Now pull that up. Getting dark now, real dark. Right, so that's now supported. So I'm pulling on the drive shaft, which is good. Right, so that's the driver's side off. Got to get the passenger side off, but I'll get that done now. Turn you guys off, and I'll see you guys again in the morning when these are off. And I made a decision about the calipers, so see you then. All right, guys. Fast forward to the next day. Bloody freezing. It's at -2 at the moment, so I'm all wrapped up. Right, I have got 3 shocks laid out on my bench. Right, so 2 of them without springs, and we'll come on to that in a minute. So this one, near side of the car. This one was on the off side of the car. And this one was in the boot of the car. Right, so I'm trying to figure out what's been going on, but I'll bring you in. Right, so I have cleaned these out too. I'm not cleaning the middle one. That'll become apparent in a minute. I've taken the spring off that one as well. Clear and apparent that this one is a lot older and still in a lot more life than these 2. And normally you'd expect to see more corrosion and wear and tear. No, corrosion on the near side of a car, i.e. this one. But so this one is pretty knackered. Works fine, but looks awful. And I was like, well, I took it off and I was like, you know what? I'm going to check out the one that came with the car in the boot. I think if you compare these two look very similar in terms of age and usage. So this car hasn't done many miles in the past, I don't know, 5 to 7 years or so. So I think there's a bit of flaking on there, a bit of flaking here. So I think these 2 are pretty much the same in terms of usage. So I think what's happened, this is my story that goes behind this is one of the original or early fitments to the car, and there's probably another one, a sister one that went on the front. The other one probably went, and then the guy picked up 2 used ones to replace the one that went, fitted the one that needed fitting in terms of the replacement, and kept the other one, or just didn't get around to fitting it. So this is why this one was in the boot, and this is why this is on the car. But I think these two are a matching pair. We're going to clean up and fit back on the car. Okay, so that's the plan for today. So what's the next job? Well, I'm just trying to get the worst off with this. I mean, I've got to figure out what to do with this sticker yet, but this stuff just do manually, can't we? So just down the bottom end, really want to clean it up with a sandblaster. Right. Oh, I made a start. I mean, that paint's well adhered, so it's good at getting the loose stuff off. It's a bit of flaky stuff there. And it's actually quite good at blending the edges as well, so that'll save a job. But where this paint is well adhered, it's keying it up a bit in there as well, down here. And then that bit needs a damn good clean too, doesn't it? And the thing about this cabinet of it not having a deep hopper, it's like a horizontal pipe to it. I have to tip the sand, tip the sand down to this side here to make sure we get some good suckage in the pipe. That's the first one done. There's a bit before and after the other one that still needs doing. I mean, you can see that the still adhered yellow paint is quite thick, so I've left that on. So all these edges should be quite graded. I'm going to go for Scotch Brite. We've got that all off, and this was right mess down here, so that's come up quite well. So now we're just going to go over some rust converter. So I've used this for a while. It actually does seem to do reasonably well. So yeah, we'll give that a go. Got my little brush. I've got a few of these little brushes from Amazon. They really do come in handy, so they're worth getting. Something like £5 for 10 or something. So we're just going to paint this all over. Well, all over where there's no paint. Pick up any rust that's left. What we'll do is we'll pop it inside to dry and warm up, ready for some primer to go on it before we paint it later. No sign of where my wheels are yet, so I dropped them off 2 days ago. I guess that's not too long. The guy did say 2 to 3 days, so I have messaged him about an hour ago. No response, but we'll see. It's Friday today, so he might give me a message later. Doesn't look like I'm picking them up today, but it could be tomorrow. But they're only open till 1 o'clock tomorrow, so we'll see how we get on. Else it'll be into next week, but that's okay because we're doing this anyway. We're not driving the car at the moment because there's far too much salt on the road, isn't there? So no major shakes. Although the car sat on blocks on the driveway is a bit of an eyesore. Right, the sandblaster was struggling with these edges a little bit, so we'll just take those off by hand. Nearly knocked me. We'll stream that over. Right, that's all on there. And you see that turns a nice shade of purple. Right, then we've got the primer. This primer's been inside, so it's nice and warm. This has been inside as well, so that's quite warm. Bloody freezing out here, but we'll get it painted, then we'll get it back inside while it dries. So it's a delight. Alright, that's all primed up. It's going to get it dry. Right then, time for the base coat. This is RAL 1023 Traffic Yellow. So standard base coat, 1 part base coat, 1 part thinners. Okay, so 50-50. Obviously no filter on this. It's only a shock. It's not that important. So hopefully that'll be enough to do 2. Right, straight on to number 2. Right, so whilst I'm waiting for that paint to dry on those shocks, I'm going to have a quick tidy up of this hub. I'm not going to paint it because it's too cold to paint. And my plan over the spring is to take the subframe off and drop that, change the lower control arms anyway. So I'll be going back in here at some point. But I just want to make it look a bit smarter. There's lots of flaking rust and paint on there I want to get off. So I'm going to take the disc off, just disconnect the caliper, not hydraulically, but just move it away from the disc. 19 millimeters. Okay. This disc doesn't have a retaining bolt in it, so I need to sort that out. There's one on the other side, but not on this side. No. Okay. Okay. Now my caliper stuck on the disc. Don't fall off. Get my hammer. Right, just release that bad boy. Right, there's more than one hand here. Drop that disc off. We've still got to clean these calipers up, haven't we? But for now, yeah, the braking face looks okay. There's some grease on the back. It's just a bit oily and grimy and dirty in here. So we'll pop those pads out, give it a bit of a clean before we put it all back together. Right, but for now, the focus is this look. So I just want to just get rid of all this flaky stuff on here. So as I say, I'm not going to paint it. I did think about putting some hammerite on here, but it's not really the weather for it, and I really could do with taking them off to do that. So I'll just scrape all this off. All right, then I'm going to give it a bit of a wire brush in. Right, guys, I already did this, but my audio didn't work. So I'll just put some built hamber Dynax UC on here. This is an undercoat protection. UC is undercoat clear. You can get UB as well, I think, undercoat black. So this comes out like a grease, especially in this temperature, so it's quite thick. So you have to warm it up, and you normally spray it on from this stuff, but you can brush it on as well, which is what I'm doing today. And it also comes in aerosol tins as well, if you want to just do that to coat the underside. And that's what I did when I did my MG. But yeah, this is good stuff. So I've just, as I say, been brushing it on, put it in some hot water, let it get really runny because it's like a thick grease in here, and then just brush it on. It goes quite far, this stuff. It's clear, so you can still see the rust underneath it, so it still looks a bit crap, but it stops it from any further corrosion, and it's quite good, and it's self-healing as well. So if I could paint it, that'd be great. But on this actually we'll get powder coated at some point. So that side's done. I've just put some up here as well for the strut mount, so to stop the body corroding on the car. And I'm just going to go and do the other side now. So cool, yeah, good stuff. Right, guys, a few hours later, obviously didn't have you see me do all the coats, but there's about 3-4 coats on here, so that's gone on nice and thick. So dark and really cold outside now, so I'm back in the kitchen. So yeah, so it's looking good, nice and yellow, brilliant. A couple of runs here and there, but I'll go on. It's not bodywork, is it? So we're going to live with that. But it's flat and it's dull, so we need to stick some lacquer on it. So you won't see that. What you'll see is these covered in lacquer in about 2 seconds. All right, guys, that's it. The shocks are done. Fantastic. These are ready to go on. They've been hardening for a couple of days, so I'm hoping not to lose any lacquer. Obviously not as good as powder coating, but they'll go back on. I also put some black paint in with my built hammer surface protection when I painted my hubs, so they're going to look a bit better as well. And just as a quick reminder, that's what we took off the driver's side, and that's what we're going back on. So it's going to look so much smarter when it's back on. Fantastic. Well, that's going to be the end of this video. It's taken far too long to get to here, so we're going to wrap it up. Still waiting for the wheels to come back. So in the next video, we're going to sort out those calipers, give those a clean, take out the brakes, make sure that's all well and good, and then get the wheels back. Got to pop these back on as well, get the springs back on, and hopefully once we're done, it'll all look fabulous and fantastic. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out this far. So this is part 1. Part 2 will follow. Stick around for that. It shouldn't take very long. As soon as those wheels come back, I'll crack on and get this done. So I hope to see you guys soon. My name's Craig, and I'm exhausted.